So, welcome you all to IdentityShield Summit 2025. So, my session is on e-commerce. So, we all know. So, let me ask you something. How many of you guys have purchased from online e-commerce last month? How many of you guys have purchased something? I think lot of everyone has something. But how many of you have felt any fear or a little bit worried about entering your passwords or your credit card details in your e-commerce sites? Have you felt a little worried about entering your card details? A bit. I think passwords all can save, but I think credit card details we still seek it is happening or not. Is it safe or not? But I just wanted to let you know, guys, for every smooth e-commerce transaction, that works behind the scenes to make your transaction secure. And that's what we'll uncover this today in welcome to my session behind the scenes of keeping e-commerce safe. I am Nitesh Pamnani, senior software developer at miniOrange, and I am a Magento Solution Expert. I'm working from since last 4 years in Magento platform, which is an e-commerce platform to make e-commerce sites. Now it is called Adobe Commerce. So yeah, let's move forward. E-commerce, as we all know, we are it's became an in it's became inherent in our habits to shop from e-commerce. We all are doing that, and we all have some or other apps in our phones which has e-commerce apps, and most popular ones are Amazon, Flipkart, Mintra. We all have these apps in our phones. So the adoption of e-commerce is growing day by day, and we are seeing this in our habits also. Now everyone is adopting e-commerce because of because of the convenience that we get. We don't need to go out. We don't need to just hassle with the communicate with the shopkeeper to buy or this or that. We can do easily at our home, at our convenience, do the sites, open the sites, order this. And the e-commerce also has built the trust so that your products get delivered at your home as same as experience that the if you are going in the real world to shop that. So e-commerce is growing. Just a second. So e-commerce is growing, we all know. Let's see some statistics about that, because e-commerce as we see, as we are seeing it, there is an interesting fact about that, that in India, all the e-commerce sales, 60% of the orders that we see is from the tier 2 or tier 3 cities of our India. So you are seeing that the growth is not only on the tier 1 cities of India. Tier 2 and tier 3 are also contributing to the services, or also contributing to the e-commerce growth. And worldwide, after the pandemic, all small stores or small e-commerce apps are also pushing and going to the online world, because they are seeing that if these things ever happen again in the future, then they will not be left with the no sales. They at least have some presence in online, so that the sales can be still continued. So let's see some statistics how global e-commerce is working. So you can see from the e-marketers chart. Can you just make this whole screen full? So as you can see, in 2024, it's still it's 6.09 just a second, $6.09 trillion. It's already, guys, in $1 trillion in 2024. Global market sales is in $1 trillion, and it's expected to grow to in 2028 to $8.09 trillion. So you are seeing a major growth in the e-commerce sector, and everyone is contributing to that rather than the offline purchases. But as we all know, if e-commerce is growing, the threat for the attackers is also growing. If people are more active on the e-commerce sites, then the attackers is also seeing that growth, and they are also get attracted to attack that also. So we can see that the attack surface is also growing. So here is the global average data breach cost that is also being mentioned in the keynote of the session in 2024. The average data breach cost for a business is $4.18 million. It's not a small amount to pay for a business. And it's the fact around this is that 48% of the attackers or 48% of the cybersecurity attacks happen to the small businesses that doesn't have that much infrastructure for the security to handle that attack, and they lost so much of their money, so much of their time, and so much in making their business lives running. So apart from the financial loss, what else that the business will lose after a security breach? Let's see that. True cost of security breach: downtime. As we all know, if your systems gets breached, if you get a malware attack or something like that, then your system needs time to reboot, your system needs time to recover, your system needs time to get times to get repaired. So on that time your business will be closed. And if your e-commerce business is closed, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, it is losing you, because your customer can't purchase. And also the existing customer that already purchased, they also cannot access your platform. So they are also having that frustration of not accessing your account. Trust. Trust, everyone knows it's easy to build, it's harder to build, easy to lose. We all know that if a accounts gets breached, then the reputation of an e-commerce platform, no one will buy it. And in the e-commerce domain, we pay premium for the trust. We all know that that same shirt will be cheaper in any other e-commerce site, but we'll buy it from Myntra. Why? Because of the reputation that they have created. So reputation is the main fuel of the e-commerce businesses. That gets hampered. Top secrets, trade secrets get hampered. If your systems get breached, or if anyone can access your systems, then it can see how much or what are the pricing strategy that you have done. What are the negotiations you have made with the resellers? What are the catalog strategies that you have used on behind to show that, and that can be used by your competitor to access that. Legal consequences. There is a heavy amount of the data breach cost that they have paid is paid to the national state laws for the data breach of GDPR and PCI DSS. PCI DSS is just payment card industry data standard security. So they charge heavy amount. If your data gets breached, then the state will charge, because the customer of that state, the data is lost for that state. So the charge you need to pay to your state, so that is a legal cost that is joined with that. So this is all the security cost that you need to pay after a data breach. But we'll try to avoid that. How we can avoid this? Now let's understand how our e-commerce shop or shopping is secured. So we start with basic principle first, and after that I think the better way to learn is by seeking examples, that how the previous data breach has done and what we can learn from that. So I have implemented also same in my sheet. So we'll first try to do what are the fundamental principles, and then we'll move forward to the real life case attacks that has happened in previous, and learn from that what we can be avoided or what we can implement to avoid that. Some fundamental e-commerce security principles include CIA rights. CIA stands C is for confidentiality, I is for integrity, and A is for availability. Confidentiality. We all likes to keep our things secret or confidential from any other. So we all need that our e-commerce platform also take our data, make it confidential. It will be not private to every other site that what I am purchasing. We all see that if we try to do a Google search or that of I want to buy a shirt, then you will see hell lot of ads of regarding that. So the data is getting shared across all the platforms regarding that. But confidentiality means how we are protecting your data so that no one else can breach that, or even the e-commerce platform doesn't have that. How it can be done, I will let you know. We use encryption techniques and hashing techniques. Example, passwords. If you store a password in your e-commerce site, your e-commerce site shouldn't know your password. They only store or know your password through hashing techniques or in the database, because if the database get breached from any attacks, then then the attacker would only know your username and the hashed passwords, not the real password you have done. So hashing will helps us to keep our passwords credentials safe. And credit card details. So most of the e-commerce sites now, I'm talking about now, they don't handle the payment card data, because it is already handled by 3D security of payment pages. So payment portals like PayPal and Stripe will handle all the payment details, but earlier it was handled by the e-commerce sites only. Then that way, in today's scenario, what they are doing is they are tokenized your credit card details. For example, if you enter your credit card details, it get tokenized and gets stored only on the payment portal provider detail, and there is a specific token that your e-commerce will store. So if your e-commerce stores get breached, or if your e-commerce stores uh, get attacked, then the attacker will only get the token, which is not readable, which is of no value. It's only makes value when it's go to the payment provider. That makes a value. So it is the way we are doing the same. Earlier we do milk tokens, I believe everyone has. Okay, earlier I am the only one that uses milk tokens. Earlier we purchase every month 100 rupees or something like that to the milk vendor, and they give tokens to us, so that for every purchase, even a kid can go and send the token. The real money is not involved. Same in the case with the card industry, which is now implementing. IS for integrity. What our data, what we are sending to the e-commerce platform, and what e-commerce platform is serving to us, should be not unaltered, should be not altered between the transactions. So what we have sent the request and what we are receiving. So you can see in many malicious sites, you want only the article that you want to be present, but you are seeing malicious ads on that. So that is a vulnerability that they have. If they are intentionally doing that, that's some other case. But in some legit cases, I think the last A was remaining. A is for availability. That what I have already been presented. Availability is the most important thing in the e-commerce business. Correct. And you need to make sure that all your services are available 24/7. All your accounts details, customer order notification, customer can purchase that order, will be available to them. And what we can do to make it available. So what are the first attacks that make because we all know that if it is our site, we mostly knows what are the usual traffic that will come. If you are just opening that, we are not expecting that millions of users will bombard our sites. So what we are telling is, we already scale to some little databases, little servers that we have implemented. But what attackers will do is, attacker will flush your sites with bot accounts with millions of requests, that makes your sites down. That's a DDoS attack. That's a distributed denial of service attack that they will do to stop your services. And what you can do to mitigate that, you can use API rate limiting to every account, authenticate every account if it is important. You can use firewall techniques or firewalls or CDNs, advanced CDNs, that is content delivery network, that will show the content to your users, will have the capability to mitigate that attack. And if you are on a greater scale, that you are globally serving to millions of customers, then Cloudflare and AWS offers you the capability of DDoS attacks, because they are monitoring globally all the attacks that are happening, and they know the behavior of that. So they will help you better to mitigate this. Now, real e-commerce breaches. Let's move forward to the real e-commerce breaches that we have seen in the past, and what we can learn from them. Shein. I think anyone knows Shein? Anyone knows Shein? I think only the girls mostly know Shein, because it targets. It's a global sites, and it mostly have women apparels. It's not working in India, I believe. It's banned in India because it's originated from China, so that's why it's banned. But it has a global users focusing on women's apparels, it has faced a major data breach attack that gone through his login portal, and the type of attack was credential stuffing. So I will let you know what credential stuffing is. Credential stuffing is if you find any password, so you can go to, I think there are some Telegram groups also, there are dark web also, where the credentials of the users will be getting leaked in the previous organization, in the previous data breaches. For example, all our data of AWS, all our data of, I think the last hack of ICICI Bank, mostly our, here and there our data is present in the in the dark web or in the internet. So they use the previous old data that they have fetched and try to log in into one of their admin account portal. And they also, so they try this technique to get access to them, that account, and the point of entry was the login portal. And there is a lack of API restrictions on number of attempts that I can log in. So there is a little brute force that they have done to make sure that they get the access. They have the 2FA installed. 2FA is a very important thing to install for the all the admins. So they have the 2FA installed, but the 2FA was the technique they use of 2FA fatigue. So there is a adaptive notification for the user that they get. So they have frustrated the user by sending hundreds of notification in a daily basis. So in that OTP fatigue, in the 2FA fatigue, the user once clicked at the OK, that I am authorizing it. And by this, pressing the OK, they get the access to that account, and they literally move forward and change and hack the whole thing. Millions of customers' identity, their shopping patterns get leaked in that data breach. What are the resolutions or lessons we can understand from that? Enhanced authentication using MFA. So in this use cases, there will be not only one account that was breached, millions of accounts was breached. Then the MFA that they are using was not configured that well to protect that account. I have also already tell you the 2FA fatigue is already there. Not only if you are applying the OTPs, that will secure all your transaction, but you need to go ahead of the OTPs. You need to go for adaptive authentication. You need to go for passkey logins. That also, so in the OTP, general OTP thing is, if you are entering your password that you know that, anyone else can know that and log in on your behalf. If you are applying the OTP thing or MFA thing, then only your device can access the thing. But right now, due to some malware attacks, sophisticated attacks, OTP is also transferred. Then the next thing, what is in future, or what you will be seeing in the work, is that you are able to do from the biometric authentication, like passkeys. In the Google, you have the access to add the, after entering the auto login process, they need your authentication of fingerprint. So they are now enrolling this feature that only the authentication through fingerprint in the laptops will make you access to the already saved password that you had. So this thing is also coming in the uh, process. Some password policy changes. Weak passwords always gets brute forced. The the quantum technology that they have turning is that can uh, they can just increase the computation power of a computer, that they can just decrypt the keys also. And we are just talking about the string of passwords that you are using with just numbers. So password policy rules should be strict. The number of length of password, the number of special characters that you can implement, numeric plus alphabetic, that makes your password stronger, so that it's hard to get brute force attack. Advanced monitoring tools, as you need to have a bot detection. So bot detections comes from very easy by just rate limiting the API, so that if a user is tried to log in after 3 times, after 3 time password attempt, then it gets a timer to that. After 1 minute or 2 minutes, you can try that. But it is get to the sophistication to that level that it will detect the behavioral pattern of what are the users are attempting. If I am every day logging into our e-commerce sites at 8 p.m., if I am now logging into like 5 p.m. in the morning, then the system will know that it is not something usual, then they will ask from the adaptive authentication or the 2FA from the customers also. So we can implement that to do this. Wix, I think, any guys know Wix? Is an e-commerce software building platform. So you can make sites on that. Many e-commerce sites also build on Wix. It's a very simple platform so that everyone can build sites. So the incident, what happened to the Wix is there is a custom theme editor feature that they have given. So we need to make sure that what we are implementing from the third party, we are ensuring that what we are doing is secure. But if the third party vendor or if the third party service that we are using is malicious or is something vulnerable in that, then we also need to test our environments regarding that. So what attack that does happen to the Wix is that the custom theme editor of the Wix sites has a feature of custom theme editing, and there is a very simple or the big vulnerability or loophole for the attackers so that they can implement the cross-site scripting attack. They can inject a JavaScript query into your sites from the chatbot or from the theme edit section, and your sites get hacked, or you can implement anything that you want in other sites. So that what happened is many of the millions of sites which are using Wix are got impacted by this, and Wix has to pay a amount of $4 million to the US northern states for leaking his data for the customers and showing the malicious activities on the sites. Because attackers, what they do is on millions of sites, they have run the crypto ads, they have run the full account takeovers, and they are running the cryptic videos that no one wants to see that. And they are breaching the policies of their state. So they also do that. What was the impact? Potential sites compromise of millions of e-commerce sites gets compromised. They have, after the security gets breached, they have released the patches, but that is also concerning. How many of you guys, what software that are you using is on up to date, is on the latest versions? They have created a email, or they have notified the user that the security has breached, but how many have you updated in your environments? Because I am a Magento developer, and I see on daily basis customers who are using 5-7 year old platforms. They are not upgrading because of their traditional architecture. So how much time we invest to make sure that we are using the newest technology is the thing also. Security measure implemented stricter CSP, content security policies. That should be the main thing that should be learned from this is, you shouldn't have to believe anything or any services that that is coming from third party. First of all, if you are implementing any third party tool, if you are implementing any third party extension in your environment, you must have fully tried that, or you must ask for all the reports or all the testing that they have done for you guys. Security training focus, because this was a very simple vulnerability to exploit. So every attacker would deep dive into that. But if the security training of the users that creating the sites was aware of the security breaches that they can do, or how the cross-site scripting attack works, then it would be easier to detect and just downgrade it to the lesser version of that of Wix site. So that was also can be done. Next is Alif Bazaar. So this is one of our customer that we have taken. So what the Alif Bazaar is facing is that it is a global grocery chain kind of a thing, because they sell fresh foods and grocery in Dubai mostly. So what they are facing the fake COD orders mostly, because it is a grocery chain, so they have implemented the COD orders for Dubai only, and the Dubai thing, they are facing the fake orders. So this was a query of the customer that we have tackled. So what we have done initially was to make sure that their checkout after the guest login checkout, because guest login checkout is a feature that every e-commerce must have implement, because it faces less friction for the customers to just purchase that, because it is not your Google login that everyone should first log in and then purchase. The customer will should first add the cart, select the product, add it into cart, and then it should be able to purchase. So what we have done is we provided the MFA support, login at the checkout or their customers, and after that what we have done is we have implemented the sticker in the Magento platform. We have Fastly was the CDN that they have used, so we have used the stricter policies for the API restriction, so that the bot attacks who are doing that MFA, the checkout, that should be mitigated up. Yeah.
Things castle or can be like an upload to the address where they got it.
Yeah, so they are faking that address. So there is a bot attack who are entering any details, any Dubai URL or any pin code, and they are submitting the request.
It was a bot.
Yeah, it was a bot attack. So that's what he faced, and because they have realized very late, because when the delivery persons are concerning the request that other request is not getting fulfilled, then they get concerned why it was happening, and then the thing is that legit account was not there. Yeah, sure.
I mean, look at it, somebody.
Yeah, they're saying don't order, or the address was also wrong. There's some random digits. Yeah.
Cyber is really hard to pick by. Yeah, I had only work the 40 million up in this thing.
Yeah, that's not always the case. So the attacks that you are talking about is the global attack that will happen, but this can be done through your competitors also. This can be do for the fun also, because everyone, I think the global courses for ethical hacking is also increasing. Everyone wants to try out. I am also trying it out, that if I see a vulnerability that I can exploit, I will try this out. This was not an ethical way to do that, but people will try. If you're not closing your room, that someone else will enter your room. That's the thing. We need to make it secure. So that was the use case of Alif Bazaar. Wakeman, this is also Wakeman's is a global chain for grocery selling. They have 106 stores in the US, and they are also the operations the operations at which they handle their things as very massive. What they have done is they has a vulnerable checkout application. The add-on that they have implemented was for the one-step checkout. For one-step checkout or for quick checkouts, they have implemented an additional extension in their sites, so that the user will get quickly check out from their application or quickly do the purchase. That will increase the revenue, but that was vulnerable. The SQL injections gets injected in that checkout section, and what happened was the things got compromised. All the databases that Wegmans has, all the customer details, but the customer details was partial, not fully, because they have implemented all the security policies, but the data, the pattern of their purchases, the recent purchases got leaked in the market. They also need to have, I think 1.9 million was the cost they have to pay to the government of US for that breach. What they can have done is regular security testing. In e-commerce, mostly what our focus is to get more sales, how smoothly our transaction is working, how easy can customer is getting their product, and all the customer experience is the main focus. But what we forget is security is also important. We need to make a dedicated team. We need a dedicated time for the security of our product, security products, comprehensive security trainings. I think trainings is, I think that should be, because it's mandatory for the admins that who are having that account, or who are seeing the logs for that audits, because you can see if there are early warnings of the attacks. Okay, you will see in the performance of your site, you will see in the logs of your systems that there is a warning. But if you are ignoring that, if you're not capable enough to make sure that this is not the genuine traffic, this is not what we see on the regular basis, then it's something fishy or it's something behaving on this sense, then security training will help in that domain. And hence data controls. But data controls is also a weak portion, because in the SQL attack that they have done is, so they have implemented the privilege accounts that we are talking about in the current section. That privilege accounts are separated from the data, and they have separate database for the privilege account, so that you cannot escalate your access from the customer normal admin to the main admin, but they the controls or data controls are also shared between them. So that was the flaw that they have exploited, and they got access to the um, main database of the privilege accounts also, and they have um, they get then full access of their database and breach the content. Advanced threat landscapes that we are seeing day to day. First one is phishing strategies. Phishing, I think everyone has mentioned that phishing, they are really facing phishing. Emails is full of phishing. That was the first traditional way that phishing has started, from emails. Now it's everywhere. It's on messaging app, it's on Instagram, it's on every app you can see. There can be possible phishing ways. Bot attacks, we will go a little bit about bot attacks and payment gateway. So phishing attacks, social engineering techniques are getting more and more evolved in this, because we are seeing the behavioral patterns of the humans in better way. How what's the time the customer is frustrated, what's the time the customer is happy or something. So they use these things to make the social engineering techniques very much effective. Sophisticated impersonation, the digital arrest thing. Now the AI is getting more advanced to impersonate humans. So we'll see a case study also on that, how a sophisticated attack will be happened to a big resort, and how they have tackled that. Multi-channel attacks, I've already told you, this is not now confined to the emails. Now there is a voice emails or voice messages, voice calls that are also phish users by by telling your password or resetting your password. We'll see that user technique, email authentication protocols, and real-time threat intelligence we can implement to do that. Just, I think I'm running little out of time, so I'll just go through that once again. MGM, that's the important thing that we need to know. MGM Resorts is an international resorts that have Las Vegas. Many of the casinos and Las Vegas hospitals, hostility business they are, and they have attacked they have faced a social engineering and ransomware attack, the phishing attack targeting the helpless employee. So it was personating that the admin is telling the helpless employee to change his password. So he was impersonated with that, I am the admin, change my password. So he showed all the fake documents, he transferred all the fake documents, and the helpless owner changed his password and give him the access. And after that, the breach has happened. So that breach impacted 10 days operational breakdown of all the casinos, all the resorts check-in, and they are basically doing manual checking for making the essential things opening. What they can done is enhance, and adaptive authentication is a way to implement, because everyone not need to enter their password or OTP every time. So it should be adaptive, because if just Suraj sir explain also like that, if I'm doing the whole work normally, if I'm from the authorized access, I am doing password right, I'm doing the timing right, the location is correct, then it should not interrupt me by asking OTPs. But if I'm doing this from other locations, other timing, then it should bother me to ask for OTPs. Regular training, regular setup updates. Bot attacks that we already has discussed. Account takeovers, they can take over your account because of credential stuffing or password spraying. If your password is weak, or you are set it, the password is 1234567, then the bots will spray the passwords in your accounts, and try to access that DIDOS. So this is the attack that most of the highly big organizations also face, that distributed inventory denial of service. Have you seen or have you done anything like that? If there is a flash sale and you are not able to get your product, so that attack what do is, they from the bot accounts, they'll take the product and get into the cart. So they are occupying the cart detail, occupying the product detail, and they're creating a artificial urgency so that the product is no more. That attacks also can happen, so that if 50 of them just buy that same and add it into the cart, the cart will say the product will be getting sold out from your stores, because if you are not checking out. So so what they can do is they can scrape the account. They can impact the analytics, because every e-commerce sites have analytics. What customers product are liking, is it better, how they are scrolling, how the user behavior, what pages are the most important. And the bot accounts can make your analytics of no use because of these malicious things that hovers here and there for making that bot is not there. Payment gateway protection, I think many of the things that we don't need to care about, because the payment gateways are now all the things taking all the security measures on our behalf. What we need to do is just making sure that our APIs or the payment gate APIs keys that we are storing in our platform was secured, and how we are updating with the SDKs that they have provided are new or not. That's the main thing that we need to make sure. That emerging defense technologies, AI, behavioral analytics, and automated incident response. I think you will be hearing a lot in this conference about AI, how behavioral analytics works, how automated incident responses works, and you don't need to take a response. The AI will check the behavior of the users, of the malicious users, and block on your behalf. So that can be done. Predictive defensive technologies like continuous learning systems. So you can deploy the learning systems on your platforms or your business sites, and this will procreatively learns what your system is, and you they can guide you how to take steps for security. Procreative threat hunting and zero trust architecture that you can implement in your sites to make sure they are secure. Security is not a product, but a continuous journey of adaptation and reliance. Thank you, guys. If you have Q&A, sure.
That, that,
Magento. Yeah.
what is that?
Magento is a platform, e-commerce platform. It is now called as Adobe Commerce. So it is the platform in which you can create enterprise e-commerce sites. That's what I worked on. And we can have our all the questions or Q&A on our booth also. There is a booth of e-commerce in our booth section area. You can meet me also there.